we talked about this very briefly earlier, but like the 180-degree rule.
Sure.
Can you explain what that rule is? Because we have a lot of viewers that are like just learning how to get in the industry, and there are some people that have been in the industry and probably don't know. Sometimes I get a little confused. Like,
Yeah, there's some directors who don't know.
yeah, what is the 180-degree rule, and then I guess what's your sort of responsibility in protecting that rule?
Well, you don't want to embarrass anybody for sure.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that the coverage cuts together. So one of the nice things about the system that I've developed is I'm taking frame grabs of your, like when I do your close up, I can lay your close up next to my close up. And so even if somebody doesn't really get their head around the 180-degree rule, if I lay the two photos together, we can look like we're looking at each other, then it cuts together. If we look like we're looking at the same thing, like, oh, now Jonathan and I are both looking camera left. We're looking at a car wreck off camera somewhere. We're not looking at each other and talking. It's kind of weird. But in a nutshell, the 180-degree rule, to explain it would be if you were to take a laser beam that cuts through skull and flesh. I put that laser beam in the back of my head and it runs through my head and through your like pineal gland right there through between your eyes. The camera can only stay on one side of that line that goes behind you and behind me and through us. If the camera's on this side of it, everything should cut together in some way or another.
Okay.
Maybe not be aesthetically pleasing, but it will cut together and people understand what's going on. So that's that 180 degrees of space, because film is a two-dimensional medium. That is the 180-degree rule. So if I can put the master shots there, I can put my bourbon down for a second. Put the camera here to shoot your close-up. The second I put the camera on this side of my head to shoot your close-up, you're looking now camera right instead of camera left, and you're looking camera left in the master shot. So that's it in a nutshell. It gets infinitely more complex with table scenes because there's new 180-degree rules being 180
like for
degree
each
lines,
pair of people.
each look.
Yeah.
You know, I might look across camera for one thing, like there's somebody coming in the room, over there, and I have a line to them. Then I'm now, instead of looking camera right to you, I'm looking camera left to you over there. Well, in the main camera anyhow.
Yeah. And you can in a way move the line if like you change the blocking in a scene too, right?
Yeah, it moves with the looks.
Yeah.
The eyes are what determine it.
And you can move like if you're physically moving the camera across the line, you can kind of
you can do it
break
in the
that
middle of a
rule.
shot.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I note. I'll put a little X in the line and mark it to what word. So if I'm doing like a semicircular dolly shot or just a dolly shot that tracks behind, starts over Mike's right shoulder and then moves over to my left shoulder, right? At what point in the dialogue does the axis switch? So Jonathan's looks to Mike when the camera's here are going to be camera right, and to me they're going to be camera left. And when the camera gets here, you're looking to both of us camera right. And so I have to do a corresponding dolly shot on the other side that times out with the dialogue, which is fun.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How do you learn all that? Or is that just like learned through repetition? Because blocking is still to this like complex blocking where you have like 6 to 8 people and they're entering and exiting. It gets
complicated.
It just blows my mind
You
sometimes.
have to identify the key beats of the scene.
Yeah.
And then once you've identified the key beats of the scene, it's a lot easier. So I know at one point there's a key line where Jonathan and I are locking eyes and we're talking. And that moment, the camera's here on him instead of here. I know that when I cover that beat of the scene, I need to be there. So I need to keep track of that. And I have a kind of visual way of writing it that I understand it. But by the same token, every rule is there to be broken. So sometimes you can break it. Like there's great moments of breaking the 180-degree rule that are really powerful. The examples I like to use are Full Metal Jacket. There's a great scene, where the drill sergeant guy and the recruits, right? Where you from, boy? From Texas. Ain't nothing but steers and queers from Texas. That whole scene, back and forth. They shoot his coverage, low angle on one side of the line, and then they shoot the recruit's coverage from the other side of the line, high angle. And it's this disconcerting feeling of like something's wrong. Like I'm totally powerless. Like what's going on? Another great moment. Kubrick was master at so many things, was in the bathroom scene in The Shining. I use that when I teach script supervision too. There's a scene where Jack Nicholson follows the bartender into the bathroom. He's cleaning up in the bathroom, right? And he's like, you're the innkeeper. And then he goes, no, Mr. Lawrence, you're the innkeeper. And he hands him a towel, jump to the other side of the line. and it's just like, oh my god, the whole world's changed.
It's like a revelation kind of
Like-
thing. It's like you use it to jump it
It's
as
a device.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's
this murderous devil. No, you're the murderous devil.
Right.
We're on this side of the line, and that's powerful.
That's cool.
Like I say with my kids, it's like cursing. Like like you got. It's like my daughter was like, they're good kids, like really good. She's really little. We're driving, and she's like, and somebody cut us off or whatever. She's like, oh, Dad, can I curse? Can I curse? I said, if it's the right word to say, yes. That guy's a douchebag. She's so happy with herself. And we laughed. But yeah, it's like the thing. If it's the right tool at the time, so it's a subtle thing. Now, if you get somebody who just throws the camera around willy-nilly, doesn't have any care, it's just sloppy.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense, and it's confusing. And sometimes it's good to be confused. Like if you have somebody who's lost in the woods and you want to have them cross out left, cross back in right, like all that stuff, that's fine. But if you want to have a linear sense of a journey, it's important that they go from left to right.
I guess if you're not paying attention, it's helpful for those reasons because it doesn't make you feel
What gives you the subconscious feeling of a journey moving in one direction?
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's not aimless.
right.
Like I'm on a quest. I'm going from right to left.
What's the old the Western thing? It's like the good guys always entered from the left and the bad guys entered from the right because it was like weird to watch somebody walk in that way.
It's like how you read. You read
Yeah.
left to right. So
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's different in
Maybe,
in a
it's
Muslim
different.
country where they read the other way.
right.
or in Japan where they're reading top to bottom.
Yeah.
All the good guys coming from the top.
That's why the superhero
Why the
landing.
ninjas are always coming in from the top, bro.
That's why ninjas drop from the sky.